All right. So we've had the overview. We're set the context. I would highly recommend you listen to these in order. I know some of the people are going to be clicking on these because of the title, but I would highly recommend you listen to these in order. I'm trying to keep them short and sweet. So that means I'm building. None of these things stand on their own. They do. I mean, you could listen to it and get some takeaway, but the whole is greater than the parts. How you like that? So I would recommend you go back, what, 4 episodes now. Start at the beginning, starts with the overview, right? Setting the context of this. Then we went into the art and science defined, which I think is really important. I went into the 3 cell cycles in your practice, really important. And then last time, really harped on why that first cell cycle, right? Further upstream, the beginning of the ecosystem is so damn important in this whole process, and why this is where all my focus is, right? Now, right? I want to get into this art of the first phone call, which this could be an hour-long podcast, but we're not going to let it be that. Maybe I'll do a part 1 and part 2 or something. But the art of the first phone call, because this is the conversation, right? Last time I had 5 steps. I had to go through the 5 steps and I repeat them in step 1, step 2, step 3. The art of the conversation is that part where you're going, yeah, but what happens here, Jerry? What happens when someone leads with, do you take my insurance? What happens with someone saying, I want to get scheduled. Do you take my insurance? What happens if someone says, how much does it cost? Right? There's all this, and this is the art. Here's what I'm here to tell you. We still, with the conversation, we want to follow the 5-step intake process. That is our roadmap to success. So regardless of what someone starts with, our goal is to politely, and I'm going to show you how to do it, right? Get people on the track we want to be on. I'm going to say this out loud, and I'm going to say it many times. You must maintain control of the conversation from start to finish. That rarely happens with the calls I'm on. There are two ways to determine who was in control of that conversation when you hung the phone up. Number 1 is who asked the most questions. Number 2 is who talked the least. Number 2 is who talked the least. Yes, you heard that right. That's why I repeated it again. Boy, was that an eye-opener when I learned that, right? So the person asking the most questions is in control, and the person talking the least is in control. Because when you're not talking, you're listening, and you're gathering more information that you need to have a conversation with this person, to lead them down their path during this conversation, to make a choice. Remember, this first phone call is all about driving this person to a choice with all the boxes checked of everything they need to know to make the best choice for them. And we have to be okay with people who say that's not going to work for me if we've checked all the boxes. But when people no show and cancel, and all you did was take their name, their phone number, their diagnosis, their insurance, and their doctor's info, I'm like, they have no fucking idea what choice they were making. And really all it came down to was cost, time, right? So the goal is to get through this phone conversation, check all these boxes that I did on the last one, right? The 5 steps. And then go, so what do you want to do? That's it. This is about leading people down a path to a choice. I love this. There is no convincing. There is no selling. We will never, ever change people's minds. Sit on that one. We're not convincing. There is no convincing. My God, there's nothing worse in the world to go, oh man, I convinced him to do what he needed to do. It's like bullshit. They're not going to do it. They'll do it out of spite. They'll do it once, right? That never works. We have to lead people down a path to go, okay, I understand all these things. Now, what am I going to do about that? That's what I want. That's a successful 5-step intake, front desk, sales process. The key to that is the conversation, the art. Now, number one in that 5-step intake process I talked about in the last episode is acknowledge. Acknowledge, and you noticed a little bit during that podcast, I used a lot of the things we collect and we keep using it back. We keep using it over and over. And acknowledge is something we use from start to finish. Acknowledge is an awesome way to maintain control. Acknowledgement is a great way to get people to go down the path you want them to go down. Acknowledgement, we didn't talk about this last time. Acknowledgement with permission-based questions is the best way to get people to go down the path you want them to go down so that what? You can maintain control of this. My goal of this phone call, from the moment I pick it up and I hear, hi, my name's Bill, I have low back pain, I want to get scheduled, is to take Bill through that 5-step process in the order I want to go. And I went through that a little last time, why that order is so important, right? The acknowledgement says it's about you, I'm listening, right? Finding out the problem in your expectations you want solved, feed into the expert I schedule you with, which then feeds into what you're going to get for your time, money, and energy, which then feeds in why you should pay, right? Sure, right? So all these things just build on each other. So I want you to go in this order, whether you call and say, hi, my name's Bill, I want to get scheduled. Hi, do you take my insurance? Hi, how much will it cost? Hi, my name's Bill, I want to get scheduled. Do you take my insurance, right? These are all possible ways what you'll hear when you pick up the phone, yet the goal is always that 5-step process in that order. And if someone doesn't want to go through that order, they're going to actually tell me no. Right? Permission-based questions. That's what I love about this. You can't lose. You take the person. This is what's interesting. When this is done well, you'll go, that person didn't want to talk to you. They were in control. It's like, no, I took them down the path I wanted to. They chose not to go down that path, right? I was in control. They said no, and I said, okay. Yeah, it's pretty magical, right? So this acknowledgement is really important. Let me give you some examples. This whole thing is just going to be examples, right? Really. All right. Hi, my name's Jerry. I got some low back pain. I want to get scheduled for physical therapy, right? Well, hello, Jerry. So glad you called us here today at ABC Physiotherapy. I'm sorry to hear about that low back pain, but I'm happy to have a conversation with you and make sure that we are the best fit for you. And if we are, and I find the right expert for you, to get you on that schedule. Here's what I'd like to do next, Jerry. So I just set the context for that whole call, everybody, right? I just set the context for that whole call. And we're 20 seconds into that call, right? Go back and listen to that again. Yeah, hi, my name's Jerry. I have low back pain. I want to get scheduled for physical therapy, right? I acknowledged everything Jerry said. I said his name. I acknowledge, right, his back pain. And then the scheduled part was, I'd be happy to help you get scheduled if we're the best fit for you and I can find the expert for you. I just told you what this whole call is going to be about. I've got control of this conversation from the get-go. And then I say, right? And then I don't, there's a period, I pause and then I say, here's what I like to do next, Jerry. Right? And then I always say, will that work for you? And with someone who starts like that and hasn't asked about insurance or anything, they're always going to say yes. By the way, what I do next is I say, here's what I'd like to do next. I'd like to get just 5 pieces of information from you to get you entered into the scheduling software. So if we do determine that we are a good fit for you, I can get you onto that schedule. Will that work for you? Yes or no, right? Yeah, sure. Cool. And then I get those. Okay, what I'd like to do next is this. Now I'm going to go down my list, right? I'm going to get the problems, the expectations, right? And the way I get that is by asking him questions. So tell me what led you to call us today. Well, I'm having some low back pain, right? Well, that's not going to work. I told you guys in the last episode, it's not going to work. By the way, you know why that doesn't work? Because anybody in town can help him with low back pain. Low back pain, treating low back pain is not the differentiator. The differentiator is, can you help him solve his problem? So I've got to get to that. Asking him his goals isn't enough, my friends. Right? Because we want to hear the story. We want to get deeper. We got to find out, right? What's this emotional driver? I can't get to the gym. Right? And then all of a sudden, oh, you can't get to the gym? Sounds important, Jerry. Oh, yeah. I go to the gym 5 days a week, man. You know, I lost like 200 pounds last year. And the only thing that keeps me, right, focused and keeping that weight off is going to the gym. Now we're beyond low back pain, my friends. We're solving a way bigger problem, low back pain. Right? I listen to a lot. I work with a handful of women's health clinics, right? And I listen to those calls, right? You're solving way bigger problems than pelvic pain, right? Leaks. No. Oh, my Lord. Right. This is why I love working with pelvic health clinics, because I love hearing these people that are so happy to find someone that's listening and can help them. It's the same exact process, right? I got to find that. And with a lot of these people, especially the pelvic health side, what have you done for it in the past? And it's all like meds and all this stuff, right? Nothing they want to do and none of it's worked. What do you expect from us? I'm just hoping for boom. And then they tell you again, really what they're trying to do. Right. And then that leads you straight into the expert. Right. These people have a big problem they want solved, and you are the solution for that. The phone call flows so well. There's no BS in anybody. Right. Yeah. And so we work our way through the conversation. So what I'd like to do next is this, Jerry. So tell me what led you to call us, right? And talk about, oh, well, I hurt my back. Oh, how'd you hurt your back? Well, I was at the gym. Right. And says I was doing a deadlift. So are you still going to the gym? Right. We got to get out. No, I'm not. Right. Oh, that sounds really important. Is that one of the reasons why you're calling us today, is because you want to get back to the gym? Yes. That is of a number one importance to me in my life right now. And I've heard all this, right? You guys know I answered calls for a year. I've heard these things. I listen to calls every day. That is a problem to be solved. That is not low back pain, my friends. That low back pain can be solved somewhere else, because I'm going to sell the expert as the solution, as the one that will help them determine what's causing their pain and what's keeping them from the solution they desired. Right? So I need that problem. I need the expectations to sell the expert. And again, the how is listening and asking better questions, right? So I'm just the expert for you, Jerry, right? Dr. Jane Doe. She's helped a lot of people get out of their back pain and get to the gym and get out of this morning pain. She actually has people just like you on her schedule currently that she's helping move through that. Way different than scheduling someone for low back pain at 10:30 with a physical therapist, right? So, right, remember, this is Jerry who called and said, I have low back pain. I want to get scheduled for physical therapy. Let me show you the art of this at the beginning with these permission-based questions, because I'm going to show you someone that you're going to get off the phone with very quickly, who's going to believe. By the way, these permission-based questions and acknowledgement is a way that you let the other person on the other end of the phone feel heard. And actually, if you ask them, they would tell you they were in control of that conversation because it went the direction I wanted. I'd be like, but I kept asking you what direction you want to go, and then I let you go that way. See what we're doing here, my friends? Yeah. And by the way, just record some of your front desk calls and start listening to them and listen to the flow of this. And right, where's the acknowledgement? Where's the permission-based questions? Who asked the most questions? Who was talking the most? Right? So let me take you through the exact opposite. By the way, which is totally fine. The only thing you're not allowed to do you take my insurance? No, click. I'm like, wait a minute, what? No. Right? There's no acknowledgement there of the question asked. You answered the question without acknowledging it. So, right. Hi, my name's Jerry. I'm wondering if you take my insurance. I'm looking for physical therapy. Well, hello, Jerry. I'm really glad you called us here today at ABC Physiotherapy because I assume you have an issue that we're hoping we can deal with. And regarding your insurance, we can definitely have a conversation about that in case you missed it. Right. My name's Bill. Um, you know what, Jerry, regarding that insurance, now, depending on your structure, right, your clinic may be a little different, but I'm just going to take you along the path of how it was set up when I was doing it. Regarding your insurance, Jerry, regardless of what it is, we do take it. And what I can do for you at the end of this phone call, so see how I'm setting up the structure. Remember, I want to get through those 5 things. What I can do at the end of this phone call is get your insurance information, give it to my team, and my team will pull up your benefits and your costs, and I can get you your cost to do physical therapy with us. So would it be okay if I learned more about you to make sure we are the right fit for whatever it is you're looking to solve? No, I just really want to know the cost. Okay, Jerry, do you have your insurance card with you? You can see, right? I'm asking the permission based questions. And depending on what Jerry says, right, I acknowledged. And then I said what I would like to do. And then will that work for you? No. So I go down the no path. So do you have your card? So I collect the information. I remind him that I'll get him his cost to do physical therapy with us. I will then say, so Jerry, in order for you to understand what you're spending your money on, right? I would like to have that conversation I referenced earlier. I want to make sure that we are the best fit for you, because if we're not the best fit for you, it really doesn't matter what your costs will be. So would now be an okay time to learn more about why you called us and what help you need from us? And I can make sure we have the expert here for you. No, I just want to get my cost. So if you could get that back to me. Great, Jerry. I'll tell you what I do. My team kicks butt on this stuff. Usually takes about 48 hours to get it. But you know what? I'll make sure they get it for you in 24 hours, and I'll call you back tomorrow at 3 p.m. with that cost. Is this the best phone number to get back to you at? Blah, 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 blah. Yes, it is. Cool. I'll call you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. We're done. And you guys go back and listen to that, because there was acknowledgement every step of the way with permission-based questions. And that guy's going to go, man, I'm glad I got through that phone call, right? But yet I know I want that structure to follow. He didn't want to follow it. That's okay, because I took him down the path to go there. He said, no, no, no. So we both got off the phone quickly, and he got what he wanted. And I'm going to call him back tomorrow at 3 o'clock with his cost. And whether he says that sounds expensive or anything, I'm going to say, right, but we don't know if I have the right expert for you, right? So this is what's funny. I'm still in control of this conversation, even when he has his cost. Oh, I'd like to get scheduled. Okay. So let's talk about, right, if we're the best fit for you now. Let's talk about if I can find the expert for you. Right. I'm going to tell you guys, most of the time when I was doing this, 80% of the time, people would start, do you take my insurance? What's the cost? Right. Hey, right, I have low back pain. I want to get scheduled. Do you take my insurance? When I acknowledged and said I would get that at the end of the call and get them their cost, yet what I wanted to do first is learn more about them, make sure I had the expert for them, make sure we are a good fit. Will that work for you? 80% of the time? Yes. Yes, it will. Boom, I win. Now I get to find out more about them so I can put some value in this conversation. So when I get them their cost, right, now they've got something to weigh that dollar against. Plus, this whole time, remember, and I've said this briefly, and I think I've said it in earlier episodes. If I schedule someone for low back pain or shoulder pain or neck pain, I am now a commodity, because anybody else in your town can deliver that. So the key to this, right, this 5-step intake, right, the science side of this is setting you up to differentiate yourself. And the way you're going to differentiate yourself is not your treatments and your services, right? And I'll go into this in a later episode, right? But it's going to be that I have someone who's helped people just like you. That's the differentiator. It's not your equipment. It's not your services. It's the person, the expert, who I'm going to schedule you with, who has helped people just like you. That's your differentiator, my friends. Right. And that's what we have to drive through. So people, do you take my insurance? Right. Part of me is like, who the fuck cares if I take your insurance? Well, we figure out if I'm the right fit for you. By the way, if 15, 25% of your clients are canceling and dropping off and no showing, then you've got people on the schedule who aren't the right fit for you. And that's on you, not on them, by the way, because we didn't do this upstream. I mentioned earlier in one of the earlier episodes, right? I dropped my own cancel rate 50% when I started this. Changed nothing with the providers. I've done this with other clinics in every setting in multiple different states, big cities, small cities, right? States all over, multiple states, right? Where we change the script at the intake process, the sales process, there is no script at the front desk, and we watch their cancel rate go down by the time we're done with the training 4 months later. And we did nothing with their providers. The providers just get to be the experts they are, right? We focus way too much on that. So we got to, again, we want to beat on that. So as we're worried about training our providers on how to communicate properly, we got to train the front desk team in these skills, right? In this art of the conversation, in this art of the sell. Everybody has the science down. You must have the science down first. I said this earlier. Got to have the science down first, then we work on that art. All right. Again, I'll probably go into this again, and I'm going to talk about selling the expert versus selling the commodity. And so what I'm going to end up doing this is perfect. Swear to God, I didn't know where I was going to go with the next episodes. What I'm going to do on these next couple episodes is break down this 5-step intake process. And I'm going to really break down the art of the conversation in there. So this was just a higher level, right? Acknowledge, permission-based questions, how we want to drive the conversation, right? How the person asking the questions is in control, how the person talking the least is in control. Now, what I'm going to do over the next couple of episodes is break this down a little more so you can hear the art of it broken down and explained a little better in that flow. Awesome. This is gold, man. Again, it's all out there. You guys want to drop your cancel rate? Go back to episode 1, listen to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Listen to these 5 episodes. Have your team listen to it. Start practicing it, role playing it. You will drop your cancel rate. All for what? The investment of your time and your energy. Very important. Right? Just by listening to this bald dude. Cheers all. Thanks so much for your time, by the way. Appreciate it.